Hello, and welcome to the Pricing for Profit Masterclass. Now, listen, I have been a photographer for almost 8 years at the time of this masterclass, and I totally understand the struggle of pricing. It is what is responsible for making us have confidence or not have confidence. It can totally be that thing that gives us a great big headache. But I'm hoping that by the end of today's masterclass, you are going to be able to price yourself for profit and truly understand how you can have packages that will sell and have prices that will have your ideal client saying, yes, you are the obvious choice. So let's dive on in. If you don't have a notebook and paper, I highly recommend you grab one. Is being profitable possible as a photographer? Or is it just an expensive hobby? Well, my answer is that absolutely yes, it really is possible to be profitable, but you have to know how to price yourself and create an irresistible offer. And all that means is that you've got to be able to craft something, your packages, your services in a way that speaks to your ideal client. And if you can't do that, that's where you're going to struggle with booking clients. So, let's just throw away the struggle and let's get to it. So, we are going to first chat about how to craft your pricing using your cost of doing business, local market rates, and your personal income goals. So, if y'all don't mind, I am going to talk to you like I am talking to you if we were doing a one on one strategy call about pricing. Okay, it's me and you, and we're going to chat about your pricing. So, first of all, what does it cost you to run your business? So, you might have seen this in a Facebook group before, or seen this term online, or heard somebody say it CODB. It stands for cost of doing business. And every single photographer will have a different answer because you're all in different seasons and you all have unique expenses. So, if you're a studio photographer, you're going to have a rent or a cost of the studio. Whereas if you're just someone that travels to your sessions and you do them all outdoors, you're not going to necessarily have a rent price or a studio price expense into your cost. Okay, so cost of doing business, this is what it means. And here is a rundown. So let's run through some of the most common expenses and categories in your photography business. So these are all the things that count. Your equipment. It requires a camera and a lens to even have a photography business. So this might be something that you need to calculate into your prices. Rent for a studio. Mileage or auto expenses directly related to your sessions. Gallery hosting sites. So, how you deliver your images. Maybe it's CloudSpot, maybe it's Pixieset. That's a gallery hosting site. Client management systems. This could be an Irisworks or a Honeybook or a 17 Hats. Editing software. This would be your Adobe Creative Cloud account, or if you use something else, that's the only one that I know of right now. And then for some of you, client closet and props. So all of these tie in, and there's more than just what I've listed here, but these are the most common ones that I think you'll be able to really identify with. And you need to calculate your expenses for this so that you know, hey, it is costing me around $300 a month of expenses in order to keep my business, the business lights on. Okay. And I said that with quotations because some of you don't actually work from a studio or a brick and mortar building, but still you've got to keep your lights on. You've got to stay in business. So you need to know, where are we starting from? What are my expenses? So I want to challenge you really quickly to pause the video, and I want you to go figure out your cost of doing business before we move forward, or you're going to have a hard time using the formula that we're going to be talking about in just a couple of slides. Okay. All right. The next thing, I have a couple questions. Okay. So now we need to start evaluating market rates. You need to be thinking about your local physical area. Do you know what the market rates are in your local area? What is the cost of a low priced session versus the highest priced session or photographer you can find in your area? And then where do you fall in that category? So these are very important questions that you need to be able to answer. Now, one thing that I want you to be really careful about is I want you to make sure that you realize that there are different business models out there. And this is something that I go into depth in my From Broke to Booked Blueprint program, but I want to scratch the surface here. So, believe it or not, there is actually not one correct way to run your photography business, and that is the beauty of our industry. So there are two, I'm going to go with two because this is going to be the easiest way to explain this. There are basically two business models that photographers can choose to put into place in your business. One is the all inclusive route, which means that your packages are basically you go, someone pays an upfront amount for your entire session, and then you, in return, give them digitals and a print release. That's all inclusive. So they everything that they're paying for upfront covers everything that you've promised to them. On the flip side, there's another business model that is called the IPS model, which is called in-person sales. And the goal of this particular business model is that people will pay you a set or an upfront amount. So this could be what is mostly referred to as a sitting fee. They'll pay that, which covers your time, talent, and sometimes travel. And then it does not include any digitals or any prints and products. And then they will go on to choose the collection and do an upsell later. So they'll go through with their session and then they'll decide what they want to do, what kind of products they want, what digitals, all of that later. So those are the main two types of businesses. So I need you to be really careful when you go do this market research. And we're not here to copy people. We're not here to compare our work to another photographer's work and then be like, well, we're on the same level, so I guess I can charge those prices. No, the only reason that I'm having you do the local market research is so that you understand, are you anywhere close to the range you need to be in? Okay. Yes, I 100% fully believe that as you gain more experience under your belt and as you get better and you achieve an editing style, from there you can increase your prices. And I am not going to hold back on the fact that I think your editing and your experience does play a factor in your prices. But hear me out. Just because you're 5 days new to your photography business does not mean that you need to give away free sessions or charge $50 just because you're new. That's not where you are going to price yourself. Okay. So go do the market research, look and see, where do you fall between that $50 hobby photographer all the way up to maybe someone that is charging maybe $1,200 a session. I don't know, I'm making numbers up here. The one thing I want to caution you is, do they have the same business model as you? Because if you're comparing session prices to somebody that's charging a sitting fee, but there's nothing included, and you're trying to go the all inclusive route, that's not even comparable. Okay. So I just want you to have a range, low versus high, and then where do you fall, and make sure that they have the same type of business model that you're going for. Okay. So that's going to be step 2 for you. Now, here's where I'm talking to you as if you are my one-on-one client. And guys, I have absolutely done this a million times with my one-on-one clients in my power hour calls and inside of the Blueprint program. These are things that we go over often. So right now you need to answer these questions on your sheet of paper. Is your business required income or is it supplemental? Here's what I mean by this. Is your photography business in a place where it's still a side hustle for you? It doesn't mean you're automatically going to charge less. It's just going to help you set a realistic goal. So if you are a stay-at-home mom and you fell in love with photography as a side hustle, but you have a dream to build it to a full-time income, you're still going to fall in supplemental income. Whereas if your business is required income, this is somebody trying to replace your full-time job right now. That is your immediate goal, is to leave your job and do this full-time. or your husband or your spouse or whoever it is needs you to help contribute. If you're a single mom, it's probably some required income if you're not getting the income somewhere else. Okay. So the reason I say this is because if you're trying to replace your income, then that's typically going to be your goal of what you're going to need to match your income. So your photography income needs to match or exceed your current income from whatever job you have right now. Does that make sense? So I just want you to understand whether yours is required or whether it's supplemental, which just because it's supplemental, again, you're not going to turn yourself into a $25 photographer. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. The next question for you: what is your income goal? What do you want to be bringing in per month? Are you trying to hit 1,000, 2,000, 3,000? I need you to write that number down, and then you need to pinpoint why. So if you tell me 3,000, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say, why do you need $3,000? You need to make sure that you have a plan for where your profit is going. That's a whole nother training. So I'm going to skip that right now. Okay. But I really want you to be very mindful of what your income goal is. The next question I'm going to ask you is, how many sessions can you realistically take per month? And you need to consider the editing hours. Are you trying to be a good wife, mom, and photographer? Okay, then 30 sessions is not going to be a very smart goal for you per month. Okay, I recommend that you choose a number 15 or less. 15 is half the month you're working at the session, and it gives you 15 days to sprinkle out your editing, do all the other client management that you need to do, and still be present with your family, in your life, in your job, whatever it is that you have going on. So please be very realistic with yourself. This number is going to matter, and this number might fluctuate. So what you write down and right now at this point in the masterclass might change when we start calculating numbers. Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. In my photography business right now, my goal is 10 sessions per month. That is how many sessions, that is how many days I'm committed to. I try very, very, very hard not to go past 10 because then I start getting a little overwhelmed. So go ahead and answer these 3 questions, and then we're going to move on to the next slide. So now that you have all of your fundamental information that you need, all your data, which if you haven't done it, you're going to have to, or you won't be able to do this with me. I need you to know your expenses, your cost of doing business. That's what I'm talking about. I need to know the range of your local market research. And then I need you to have the 3 questions I just asked you on the prior slide. I need you to have that ready to go. All right. And then we're going to calculate your prices. So here we go. So here is the formula. I'm taking you step by step. Take your monthly income goals. This is how much money that you want to bring in your pocket, and add your expenses, add them together. So if you said, I want to make $3,000 a month and it's costing me $300 to run my business right now, that equals $3,300. Okay, you do your math. Let's go to the next slide. Then you're going to take your target number, which is that number we just got. That's what the target number is. So the 3,300 is my target number. And you're going to multiply it by your percentage for taxes. Now, when I used to teach this formula, I left this part out. And the only reason I did that was because I didn't want to give you false information. I didn't want to make it even more confusing than it already is. But now I have a good grip on how to teach this. But let me just go ahead and give the warning. I am not an accountant. I am not a certified CPA. I'm not certified in any kind of way to give you legal financial advice. So please take this back to your CPA, your accountant, whoever, and make sure that you double check it with them. But I am going to tell you what I have been told from multiple CPAs and accountants. Okay. So most of you are going to be saving and putting aside every single month 20 to 30% of your gross income, your net income. I'm sorry, your net income. The difference between gross and net, see, here's where we get on a tangent. I want you to think about the ocean and how there are so many creatures in there, and there's just a lot. Gross means pretty much a lot. It's everything. Okay, so everything's in the ocean, but the only thing that we're focused on is what's in the net. So if we're going fishing, we're only focused on what we actually got in the net. Okay, so I hope that was a good visual. So the net is what we're looking at, but you don't have to know any of that right now. All you need to know is take your target number from the previous slide and then multiply it by the percentage that you are setting aside for taxes. I just chose easy numbers here and I chose the low side. So $3,300 times 20%, which is 0.20, I got $660. So that's how much in taxes I'm prepared to set to the side per month. Now you're going to add your target number and the tax amount together to get your final goal number, 3960. This is how much you need coming into your business per month in order to profit that $3,000 that you wanted, okay? Or whatever number it was that you wanted. So we're at 3960. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take that number we just got, 3960, and divide it by the number of sessions you chose to take per month. I chose 12 in this example. So 3960 divided by 12 is $330. This is my starting base price. This is examples. This is not really what I charge. This is the example price of where this particular photographer needs to start when setting up packages. Now, some of you are going to be like having a big gasp and you're going to realize, oh my goodness, I haven't been profiting at all. I've been undercharging. There's no way people are going to book me, and you're going to get yourself down a mindset rabbit hole. Let me reel you back in. You will get clients. You will be able to profit. This is why I gave you this whole masterclass, pricing for profit. You will succeed. So let the sticker shock go away. And I'm going to teach you how to build those packages that actually sell. And then if you still need more help, you can absolutely come either do a one-on-one strategy call with me or become a student of the From Broke to Booked Blueprint program. Okay. So whatever you get for this final calculation, this is your base price. This is what your lowest package is going to start at. So now you have a starting point. What in the world are you supposed to do now? So I will tell you that in order to craft the perfect offer or the perfect packages, it definitely is going to take more than just what I'm teaching you in this masterclass. It's going to take experience. It's going to take some research, and it's definitely going to take some trial and error. But I'm hoping on the next few slides, the tips and tricks I give you will really get you off to a fantastic start. So, are you creating irresistible packages? When you hand over your pricing and your packages, are you hearing crickets? Are people ghosting you? Or are people like, oh my goodness, sign me up? Like, you are totally worth that and more. That's what you need to be asking yourself. Okay. I'm going to bet that if you're watching this and you're truly taking notes and you're having eye-opening and light bulb moments, that you are probably hearing more crickets and being ghosted more times than you would like to admit. And listen to me, it's okay. We've all been there. I started out as a $50 photographer. I am not ashamed to tell my story because I want you to know that I have truly been there. So let's talk about how you can craft irresistible packages. Okay, so let's go over the mistakes. I've got 6 mistakes that you are probably making, and I'm going to bet you are probably doing at least half of these, okay? Number 1, you're overwhelming your clients with way too many options. You don't need to give them a Chili's menu. You need to be a steakhouse menu. You need to make it very easy on your clients. Problem number 2, or mistake number 2 you might be making: miscommunicating the value of your packages, or simply just having packages that nobody wants. Maybe they don't make sense. Maybe your client is just like, that's really not what I'm looking for. There's a lot that could go to this mistake in particular. Mistake number 3, you're not presenting your options in a professional way. Raise your hands if you are still copying and pasting your packages when a lead reaches out to you. I'll wait. I used to do this too. And then I found a way, and I'm going to go over solutions here in just a minute. I found a way that has increased my leads significantly. And we're going to walk through that in just a minute. Mistake number 4, you're using numbers or prices that they don't make sense. You're pulling random numbers, which I'm hoping we're solving this problem, this mistake through this masterclass. I'm hoping that as you have packages, you're going to easily be able to not make this mistake anymore. I have a podcast episode over pricing, a ton of podcast episodes over pricing mistakes. And I talk about how you don't need to make your pricing complicated. They need to be nice, round, even numbers, or they need to end with a 0 or a 5, and they need to make sense. Don't just do random, weird pricing packages, because then you're going to confuse your client's brain and they're going to run to somebody else. Mistake number 5, you're using way too much photography lingo that your client does not understand. And this happens a lot. We try to use fancy language and our clients are like, I don't even know what that means. So we need to be very careful with the type of language and terms and lingo that we are presenting our clients with. And then the last mistake is that you are listing your packages from lowest to highest. And there's actually a proven fact that shows if you'll reverse it, if you'll show your highest package all the way down to the lowest, it sets expectations when someone is looking at it to where as they steadily go down and they see things taken away, it helps them make a decision to go with your higher package. And that is not manipulation. That is not persuasion. That is simply presenting your packages and showing them all you have to offer first and then trickling it down from there. So now let's talk about creating packages that sell. What are the solutions to all of those mistakes? Keep it simple. Again, you don't want to be a Chili's menu. You want to be a steakhouse menu. You only need 2 to 3 session options. You do not need to have any more than that. Again, this is a side note. I talk about this a lot, especially in the podcast and in my Facebook group. But you need to be the go-to photographer for something. So right now, if you're offering weddings, newborns, engagements, couples, families, birthdays, cake smashes, quinceañeras, all the things, you need to start saying no to the things that don't light you up and choose 1 or 2 things that you are absolutely passionate that complement each other. So if that's newborn and maternity, awesome, that complements each other. You can build a business off of that. And you can still create 2 to 3 session options that they can easily choose from. Okay. So that's the first thing. And I know I'm going to get some of you because this is you. So I want you, this is like action item number 1 for you to go look at your packages and simplify them. Okay, so there are 3 things that need to be included in every package, and the rest can be listed elsewhere. And there's actually a few more than just 3 things, but your client wants to know what is in it for me. They want to know the length of the session if you have a time limit. They want to know the minimum number of images, and they're talking about digital images that they're going to get, and they need you to set the expectations. And here's what falls under expectations. All they need to know is, do I get to change clothes? That's called a wardrobe change. How many locations is this taking place in? Is it 1 or is it 2? Those are pretty much it. Everything else that you offer, so styling consultations, client closets, anything else that you do can be listed elsewhere. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. You need to be showing your images when you're presenting packages. So again, no more copying and pasting your package options. You need to use an investment guide that is designed to strategically sell you and your offers. And I'm about to walk you through one of those here in just a second. I promise you, this is a game changer. There are way too many testimonials and wins that I've heard from people that have switched to using this investment guide, and it has completely changed their booking process and how many clients choose to work with them. So here is what we're going to go through. So I actually sell a bunch of different photography templates, and you are more than welcome to go check it out. You can just go to shopbrookejefferson.com when we're done with this masterclass, and you can look at all of the different things that I offer. There are investment guides, prep guides, welcome guide, style guide, and some other nifty resources to help you in your photography business. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you behind the scenes of one of my investment guide designs. These are fully customizable, by the way. So what you see, you can change anything, the fonts, the pictures, the layout, the font styles, the colors, everything. You can change it to fit your business, but I do want to walk you through it. So here we go. So here's what it looks like on the back end. These are editable inside of Canva, not Photoshop. I know a lot of us have a love-hate relationship with Photoshop, at least I do. And I wanted to make something that was going to be easy for you guys to follow along with. And as always, of course, this is real life, you guys. I got to go grab my computer charger. I'm going to pause this recording 1 second. Okay, so let's walk through this investment guide. So first of all, you get this cover photo. And this is literally just showing your work. I don't know if you've ever had somebody that you have worked with and then they've come back and they've asked you to edit their photos in a different editing style. First of all, if that has happened, it means that your client booked you maybe because you were cheap, or maybe because they heard somebody say that you were really awesome, but they did not pay attention to your editing style. That is not helpful. And you do not have to change yourself or change your editing style for somebody else. And so one of the ways that these investment guide templates really do help your business is by allowing them to see your work over and over again throughout the guide. So they can't say they haven't seen it, and they should see consistency throughout it. Okay. So this page is just meant to let them know, hey, you're looking at my investment guide. It's for the year 2021. And here is you could put your logo up here. You could put your photography name, whatever you want to do. Okay. Page 2, you're introducing yourself. Guys, it is so important that they understand they're not doing business with a business or with a business logo. They need to be able to see you and make that eye contact and personal connection. So I'm so grateful for my friend Shelby. She's also a student of mine. And you're looking at all of her work and all of that. She let me use it so I could create this awesome investment guide. And so here she is. So this is Shelby. And she is basically introducing herself. And what I did here was I gave a lot of instruction of what you're going to fill in the blank with. That way you don't have to sit here and be like, I don't even know what to say about myself. No worries. I got you, girl. So page 2 should be your face immediately and you letting your people know who you are, why you're passionate about your photography business, and honestly, why you're the obvious choice to work with. Next up is an overview of the experience. A lot of people just want to know what happens after I book you, what happens after I pay you a retainer fee. And right here, before they even book you, you're giving them that reassurance that here's exactly what my process looks like. I am a professional, and here's everything that you could possibly need to know right now before deciding if I'm the right photographer for you. So it plays a very vital role. Next up, testimonials and a chance to show more work. Okay. These are game changers. They need to know, have people booked you before? What did their pictures look like? And did they have a positive experience? And that's what this page is going to do for you. The next one, remember when I said that when you're listing out your packages, you don't have to list everything? So we've included this page where you can just say, hey, all packages include access to my client wardrobe, a style guide, a custom keepsake album if you give a product away. If you don't, you can always delete this or replace it with something else. And then a location selection. So you get to decide on your location. I also, in the prep guide that I sell, I have 2 location pages where you can list out your like top 6 or top 5 or top 3, however many locations you want. And that way you can give your clients an option to go off of places you like to photograph. And it's a great way for you to keep your images consistent. All right, then there are 2 options for the way that you list your packages. There's this one where you could put all 3 of them side by side. They can easily compare them and make a decision. And if you don't want to use this page at all you're going to do is click delete page and it's going to take it out. Okay. Then you have another option. You can, again, show more of your work, tell me what package this is, what's included, and it has each package could have its own page. And if you like this layout, all you have to do is click this little duplicate page symbol here, and you can have as many as you want. Again, we're simplifying here, so there shouldn't be more than 4 ever, okay? And then you're giving them a call to action. You guys hear this about social media all the time. People need to be told what to do. You can't just end at packages and expect them to make a decision. You need to tell them, here's your next steps, here's what you need to do. And then last but not least, one more time, here's my face. I'm your photographer and I can't wait to work with you. And then you can insert a quote, call to action, whatever you want your clients to hear last right here. So I wanted to take y'all through that because it really will change the game and the way that you present your services and your packages. Okay. So are you craving a purposeful and a profitable photography business that leaves a lasting impact on the clients you serve and that supports your dream lifestyle? If so, I want to make sure that you get connected in my 2 places for free education, my Facebook group and my podcast. So let's start with the podcast. The podcast is called the Book More Clients Photography Podcast. This is being aired and streamed everywhere podcasts are. So if you are an Apple user, you already have a podcast app right on your phone. It's purple. Go check it out. Type in Book More Clients Photography Podcast. It'll take you straight there. If you are a Spotify listener, same thing. Go type in the name and the title of the podcast. You will find me. And make sure you guys are clicking subscribe or follow. That way you're getting all of the new episodes as they are released. That is my #1 place for you to completely transform your business for free. The other place is my Facebook group. So it's called Social Selling for Photographers, Book More Clients Facebook group. I know it's a lot of words. We had to put a lot of SEO in it. And you're going to find all of these buttons inside of the email that you got this training. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Pricing for Profit Masterclass. I hope that this is a game changer in your business. I would love for you to reply to this email. I'd love to look over your packages and just glance at them and give you some feedback. So don't hesitate to email me. I would love to see it. And I really hope that this masterclass is the push that you needed to go all in with your photography business.